Alright, I'm at Osage Hills State Park today. Stretch the legs and do a little day hike. Alright, I'm gonna go check out this falls trail first. We've had quite a bit of rain recently, so hopefully some of these falls are going pretty good. This is more like Falls Road. Little drop down to the river. A little bitty tiny waterfall. Pretty area for sure. Well, I've already got my feet wet. I'm gonna head back up to the car and see if I can get some miles in. Hey buddy, wanna come out? Alright, I'm gonna head back to the car real quick. Alright, I'm gonna run down here to the Sand Creek Loop Trail real fast. I had to park over here. Yeah, this gate closed. Alright, Creek Loop Trail. Down this way. Like there's a pretty sweet little pond over here. See if I can get up tall. Yeah, I might go check out these bluffs real quick. A little bit of bluffage action here. Nice little area. Alright, I made it back to this section here. Back to my intersection. I'm going to go ahead and do this loop trail real fast. I got a lollipop. I always think of a trail as being like a single track through the woods. These are more like dirt roads. Pretty nice though. I'm going to take the left loop here. It goes down to the creek quicker. The one good thing about a trail this wide is it would have to be a really motivated spider to spin a web across it. I'm all for that. Yeah, the creek is just runs right over there, but there's not any good access to it yet. Yeah, they didn't have any access to the creek. All of this stuff is wet, big time. A lot of rain. I got covered in sea ticks at Stockton State Park a couple of days ago, so I'm not going to go bushwhacking through all that stuff. But I got a few more miles here, so I'm sure I'll see creeks. I'm just going to get back to the car right now and get to the other trailhead. There's a lot of distance between the trees, but man, the underbrush. Whew. So I hit this sign for the Woodlands trail, which is not even on my Gaia app. I guess I'll go up here and see what it's all about. Not sure how long it is. Some cool colors in the moss. Yeah, when I think of a trail, this is what I picture, is this. So this woodland trail is just up on a bluff above the lollipop for that Sand Creek loop. You can see the trail running down through there. I think this probably comes out where that pond is at that I saw earlier. Yeah, we'll see. Just gonna keep following it, see where I come out at. I like all the moss on the rocks. Looks pretty cool. Man, my pants are drenched. At least it has these every once in a while. Let me know I'm still on trail. Man, I just happened to look over and there was like 4 or 5 deer just staring at me. They didn't even run until I stopped. So I'm kind of testing out my gimbal again today. I wasn't super happy with my Stockton State Park video. It still had a little bit of like wobble in it. So I did some test videos in my backyard last night, and I turned on the stabilization in the GoPro and had the gimbal, and it actually worked out pretty well, and it was pretty dark outside in the yard. So I did that with this hike, have the gimbal and the internal stabilization turned on. So we'll see how this works. It's really cloudy, it's been rainy, so it's kind of dark in the woods. So we'll see. Another test hike. Man, I tell you what, I'm loving this trail. This is nice. I'm glad I took the chance of coming up here. I think I see that pond right down here. I think I'm almost done with the woodland trail. Yeah, you can see those ponds down through there. Interesting green color. Well, so now I'm really confused. I turned away from the ponds and going in the opposite direction. Whoa, almost busted it right there. So yeah, we'll see where it comes out. So you can see barbed wire fence right there. So I'm just kind of hugging private property. Still on the Woodlands trail. Alright, I just popped out onto the road. So I guess I got a road walk back to my car. That was unexpected. I kind of thought it would be a loop. Alright, made it back to my car on that one. Actually, wasn't too bad. I just basically cut straight through the RV park here. So yeah, I think I got a couple more trails here I'm going to try to do on to the next one. Alright, I'm going to do this Lake Loop trail real quick. I think it's only a couple of miles long. pretty cool. Hey, buddy. He's got an orange face. Pretty. I really like my Gaia app, but when it comes to state parks and stuff like that, local stuff, it's not very up to date on trail information. So I'm on the right trail, but it doesn't show the correct route, if that makes sense. It's like the state park has since updated their trail, and my Gaia app does not reflect that. Alrighty. Pretty rocky through this area. Sprained an ankle for sure. Little stair steps here. Looks like there's a water tower. Alrighty. Continue on across the little field here. Looks like a small basement. Maybe a cellar. Looks like a really good spot for a deer to be bedded down. Pretty nice hiking through here. Easy on the feet. This is pretty awesome. So I'm not exactly sure. Guess I'm going to the left, I guess. It doesn't exactly say which way is the short way down, left or right. I'll just keep going left. I always want to hide from me. The one thing about the forest here at this state park, it just doesn't seem like it's overbearing. Like there's so much space in between the trees. You can see through the forest. I mean, there is a little bit of undergrowth, but not too bad. Like you could see really well down through there. Real nice area. This is my first real good view of the lake. It would be a nice waterfall if it's running. Alright, so I see now. So if I would have took the right up there earlier, this way, it's a little connector trail. It avoided that little loop of the top half of the lake. Glad I did it. One last look at the lake before I finish this loop out. Well, I just hit the 6-mile mark and I got to this rock building. Pretty cool. Little bit of color. So the highway is right off to my left over there. So I'm almost back to the car. A little bit of bluffage up in there. Alright, I just gotta cross the road here. Maybe 0.2 miles back to the car, and this loop will be done. Little drainage spot off the trail. This red clay is really sticking to my shoes. Alright, this loop is done. Alright, I am parked over here outside of this red trail. I think it's 3.2 miles long. I think I'll go over there and knock that out real fast. It's like an old rock building here. Seems like they could restore this and use it for something. This thing's pretty sweet. Well, let's see if we can knock this 3.2 out real quick. Alrighty. We just got a little bit of rain, so it's pretty muddy through here. Yeah, there's a little bit of flow to it. It looks like there's two trails in here. I'm gonna stay on the outside and do this red trail. It looks like there's a blue mark there. I guess there's an inner trail that's marked with blue. I'm gonna go ahead and stay red though. I think it's longer. Sounds like it's about to start raining on me again. Hopefully it's just a little baby drizzle. I think the rain brought the bugs out. I haven't had a problem all day long. Now all of a sudden they're everywhere. A little bit of a dry creek bed over here to my right. I like how the water erodes the rocks. It's pretty cool. Pretty well marked. And you can look across the creek. You can see on the tree over there, it's marked. And then across the creek there, another mark. Real easy to follow. I don't know, that looks kind of sketchy. I think I would rather just climb the rocks that were there before. Man, the humidity has made the hiking way harder. Whew. I'm sweating good, and the bugs can smell me. Little intersection here. Private trail to the right, red trail to the left. Looks like I'm skirting private property here. There's a barbed wire fence. I'm going down this way. Some nice boulders in here. Yeah, so far this red trail is my least favorite trail in this state park. It is way more overgrown. A lot of down trees. Yeah. Way more bugs. But that probably has something to do with the rain earlier. Yeah, all these things are not going to be fun pulling off later. They really like this tree. That was a monster that just ran up in there. Alright, I am 8.5 miles in from all the trails that I've done today. I should get right at 10 miles when I get done with this trail. So I'm getting close to being done with this one. Little open area. Pretty nice. Got a good breeze coming across too. Barbed wire fence. One good thing I've noticed today is I haven't had any spiders across the trail, which has been real nice. I did have a couple of bugs kamikaze right into my throat a little bit ago. They didn't taste very good. Getting pretty close. About 9.5 miles in. Little drainage action. Kind of bluffy through there. Kind of dropping down. Got so much mud on my shoes, I'm scared I'm gonna slip. Bobcat Bay. Huh. Spotted red eagle. Right. One of these bur oak acorns. These squirrels have really been tearing them up down here. Well, I don't see any rock hopping to be done, so just, oh well. It's a good way to end the hike. Alrighty, I come up to the back side of that building that needs to be redone. Whew. 10 miles, all done. Now I got to pick off all these things off my legs. Take these wet shoes off. All right, until next time.